put your hands together. Ladies and gentlemen, for Brandon!
Let's go, Brandons. I'm glad the country's still cheering me on. As Gavin said, my name's Brandon Edwards. I'm an architecture major because I hate myself a little bit. Not enough to become an engineer, though. I went on a little road trip recently, and you guys know that place that's like the world's largest truck stop in Iowa or whatever? And they claim it's like this great place to stop. And you get there, and the best things are John Deere merch, fish flops, and a Taco Bell. Gavin probably loves it.
Hey now.
But no, I was getting some Taco Bell, and there was this Amish family in front of me in line, and I thought their whole point was that they weren't allowed to lick moss. I'm not judging. As I said, I was literally at a Taco Bell. But I was on that road trip because I need to find a big boy apartment and my big boy home with my big boy job now. And you know how those house shows go? It's not as fun as they make it seem, house hunting. All you HGTV people probably love it, but you know how they always start with like, oh, like they got Marshall, he's a little league coach, and they got his wife Evelyn, and she's a salamander physical therapist. And their budget's 1.3 mil. And then I roll up to the complex in a Honda Fit. And I got 50 flex meals and about 45 cents in my car. That doesn't seem like a lot, but I can keep the parking division away for about 20 minutes. The Midwest is small, guys. I'm still moving around Iowa, so I'm going to be in it for a while. It's so small that like, when you have a terrible interaction with somebody, you're pretty much bound to meet up with them again at like horrible times, like Walmart self-checkouts. And I believe that Midwest Nights is just our way of coping with the fact that there's not enough people here, so we can't burn all of our bridges. But it's also so large that many of us will never escape. Like sea turtles running towards the ocean, many of us will just never outrun the corn. And that's okay, because I think the Midwest is giving me Stockholm syndrome at this point. I don't really care. Like, go from 30 to 80, back to 30, and just mess up my throat, but I don't care. I love it here. So, you know that line from high school when people graduate and they say, it doesn't matter what you do, you'll never see these people again? I don't believe that at all. As all good AIM stories start, I was on Welch Ave with my friends, just trying to play cool. No, not being ridiculous, just trying to play cool. And my friends come back from the bar, and they say, like, there's this guy, he's got this crazy shirt on. I'm like, all right, let's see what it says. They say, no, you gotta see for yourself. So I go up there, and it says, your daughter does anal. I know. I was like, this is a bit ridiculous. There's a lot going on here. So, like, is he out with people? Like, surely he's not out with friends, right? Like, I would never let my friends wear that going out. And surely he knows nobody here. Like, why? Who is with him? Who brought him? Is this just like a cry for attention? Because it's working. I paid attention. And then he looks up, and I meet his eyes, and I realize I know him. No, not from high school, from my hometown church. Oh, indeed. And I realized we were in a church promo video together, and we were both firefighters, like helping a lady across the street. And I guess he knows her daughter now. To study abroad last spring, and I mean, I'm not bone apple teeth or anything. I'd like to think I'm a little more cultured now. I mean, I've got the shirt and the American and me will all jump at the chance for Olive Garden, unlimited breadsticks, and a super salad. But when I was there, I wanted to try their stuff. I had a roommate, and she had her mom bring her a whole case of Diet Coke from Sarasota. The grip that drink has on our palate. Thank you. But when I was there, I was like, who can care about Diet Coke? I just want to eat the yummy fruit that are grape pitchers. They got strawberries, melon chunks, and cantaloupes. Cantaloupes are my favorite because I think I'm kind of allergic. They make my mouth all tingly. But yeah, I came back to America and I realized that sangria and Bloody Marys are two very different things. You can't blame me because in Spanish, sangre means blood, so sangria, like sangre, Maria, like, I thought it was kind of a mashup. And I get here, and we're going to a football game, and my friend's family's like, oh, you should come over for breakfast and Bloody Marys. And I was like, this sounds great, a little fruity drink to get us going. My first clue should have been, nobody was as excited as me. And celery is a vegetable. But no, I tried one, and it kind of tastes like ketchup farts and hot dog water. And there's like the occasional stray pickle, which is kind of weird. Okay, sangria, if you haven't had it, it's like adult high C, flash and fruit punch to be exact. And then a Bloody Mary is like drinking the garbage disposal out of Portillo's. So, since I know so much about food, isn't it great to know I work at ISU Dining? I had a friend voted most likely to be a chef, but that's not me. No, so it's a bit of a weird situation because it's not like we're good enough to be on Hell's Kitchen, so it's more like a Purgatory's Pantry kind of vibe. But the Pope's not going to pay to let us out of there anytime soon. Wendy's the closest thing, and she probably won't. My family lives pretty far away, so I don't really see them very often. But when I do, they normally give me sort of a "I'm proud of you, but" statement. Any other older siblings here? Maybe kind of. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot. Yeah, so the recent one my grandma hit me was, "Proud of you, but I think you have weak ankles." And like, what does that have to do with anything, first of all? And can we just agree that's a bold take coming from someone who walked the dog with a scooter? Literally, one more organ replacement and a new CPAP mask, and she could be Darth Vader's cousin. Sorry, I'm partially dying, but no, I say that out of love. I mean it. You guys make me look like I don't mean it. It looks so bad on recording. Oh man, okay. But for that reason, I kind of think I'm the human equivalent of a bouncy castle. I have the stability of a newborn giraffe, and no, it's not the weak ankles. I prefer to see it like a center of mass issue. But also, I let people walk all over me. Kind of like Gavin does with Jenna in class. I'm also good with kids. And if somebody stabs me, I'll die. What can I say? I'm a fighter, not a fighter. Oh, you guys are too nice. The best example of my awkwardness can be seen by one event. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, I love you too. Those are my friends, so alright. Being bullied. I like to wear cargo shorts because I want everything except conversations with women. But no, my mom thought my awkwardness made me like adorable as a kid. I just don't think it works that way anymore. When I was a kid, I was the kid that was like, when they were like, oh, it spells gold on the ceiling, I was looking up, like, oh, I don't know, like, I think somebody erased it. Maybe. Or if any of you know the show Schitt's Creek, when they're like folding the cheese, David, I was also genuinely confused. I probably would have made origami swans from Kraft singles and just kind of hoped that they, bake in or something. We went on a field trip to Chicago this past fall. The architecture kids get to get out of the design college about once a semester, and that was our gig, going to Chicago. And we were getting in the van, and my classmate Ashley steps in behind me, and she sits down, and she says, "Can you feel my knees?" And without hesitation, I grab her knee. Now, to this day, I don't know why that was my first response. No, it doesn't really make sense. And once I was sitting there, we were both silent for a few seconds. I realized this can't have been what she meant. But it's like too late because I can't pretend like it was a mistake. So I kind of gotta just wait for her to say something. I wasn't laughing at the time, so I'm glad you all find this hilarious. I love embarrassing myself. But no, so I'm sitting there, knees in hand. And finally, she says, "No, I didn't mean like that. I meant in the back of your seat." Alright, you're 5'5". Why would I ever feel the knees in the back of my seat? Thank you guys. You've been a wonderful audience.
For great comedy, put your hands together for Eli!
How's it going, everybody? Yeah, my name's Eli. I like to travel, and I used to think that having a fear of flying was an irrational fear. But now that I have classes with aerospace engineering students, I can tell you it's definitely rational. Like the other day in physics, I asked my friend, I was like, "How are you doing in this class?" And he was like, "Well, I'm technically passing." I was like, "Technically passing?" So like 70%. Is that what you're going to tell the passengers that get on the plane that you build when they ask you if it's going to fly? "Well, it'll technically fly. There's a 70% chance it won't crash." Yeah, but if you think about it, there's a lot of jobs that we have faith in people to be able to do that they're really not qualified for. Gavin, I'm definitely not talking about you. Like every time I go to Six Flags, I see the guy hopping in the roller coaster, I just wonder, where did they find this guy? And it's like they just went up to the local crack house and were like, "We're hiring!" Guys in the corner like, "Oh, I'm down." Or like when you go to the public pool, and if I start drowning, who's the lifeguard that jumps in to save my life? It's like this 13-year-old prepubescent girl with pigtails and a JoJo Siwa bow in her hair. She got dropped off at the pool by her mom because she's not even old enough to legally drive. And she's the one that's supposed to save me. I'm not even that big of a guy. Imagine if they had to save Gavin.
I expect that from Jenna, man.
Yeah. But at least they have a job, that is pretty good. There's a lot of useless jobs out there. Like the whole economics department, right, Peter? Yeah. Did you know you can get paid to watch paint dry? And it's only slightly more interesting than my life. Yeah, I also saw, a job posting for a professional procrastinator. I thought I'd be pretty good at that, but unfortunately I never got around to submitting my resume. So naturally, 2 weeks later they gave me the job. When I first found out that they had lifeguards at the Olympics, I was like, all the people there are like the best swimmers in the world, why would they need lifeguards? But then I remembered that lifeguards are not, Olympic swimmers are like famous for pretending to get attacked. So they probably need the lifeguard, so when Ryan Lochte pretends to get attacked by a jellyfish, they can jump in to stop him from vandalizing the bottom of the pool. Yeah. You know, one job I really think they need to get rid of is the guy at the back of the grocery store that bends the bananas. Like, every once in a while you'll get those bananas that they didn't find, that they didn't get to them, okay? And in my opinion, those are the best ones, okay? So really they should just fire that guy, because he's taking extra money to pay somebody else. And if you're out there in the crowd and you're still trying to figure out if that's actually a real job, then you should probably just go back to your economics classes. One job I think needs to mention here is high school Spanish teachers. And nothing against high school Spanish teachers, but I just don't think there's anybody that knows Spanish from high school Spanish classes. Like, I passed with an A, and I still need to remember like 2 phrases. You know, ¿Tienes 18 años? Which means, are you 18? And necesito un abogado, which means, I need a lawyer. I swear those are not related, though. Okay, that's not entirely true. You know, my brother's on exchange in Argentina right now, so I visited him over winter break, and I learned a couple new words, you know, like alto is what's written on the stop sign and stuff like that, traffic laws, you know. Well, I guess it's kind of generous to say traffic laws down there. They're more like suggestions. You know, in Argentina, they don't follow the traffic code. They just have a food chain, okay? And from an outsider, it sort of seems like the hierarchy is determined by like how big your car is. But, you know, so like, you go up to a 4-way stop, there's like a big bus going, they don't even have to touch the brake. They just close their eyes, hands off the wheel. Messi, take the wheel! You know, everybody will just get out of their way. But then I realized that's not quite right, you know. I was driving down the road with my family, okay? There's a 2-lane road, us, there's a car on our right. And all of a sudden, this VW butt comes in from behind, you know? They just maneuver their way in between us, and all of a sudden it's a 3-lane road. I did not know you could do that. That's when I realized that size doesn't matter. So, you know, a couple months ago, I was watching some sweaty guys in tight clothes groping each other. I don't know what you're thinking about, but I'm talking about college wrestling. And from that description, you can kind of tell it's not the greatest spectator sport, unless you're Matt. He's gay. So I was trying to come up with some ways to make it like a better spectator sport. And then I realized, you know, I already perfected the sport of wrestling with my brother in the living room when I was 9 years old. So I think the first step is you gotta put obstacles on the mat, okay? You got a couch, coffee table, TV, end table, lamp, okay? So at that point, not only is it just more interesting, it also evens the playing field, okay? You know, my younger brother was always at a disadvantage, but you could always pull out, you know, the classic younger sibling move. You know, you get on the couch and you just sort of like kick your legs up like this. Like, every younger sibling knows that's like unstoppable, okay? I mean, you literally have a leg up on your opponents, okay? Another thing I would do is get rid of refs, okay? I just hate refs, okay? So, no refs in the game, but there will be, you know, if you knock the lamp off, you know, that's when the moms come out, okay? Imagine, you know, David Carr's mom coming out of the stand. Who broke my lamp? I don't care who started it, who broke it? You don't tell me you broke around it, go to your room! You know, I just think that'd be way more exciting to watch. You know, speaking of hating refs, you know, I was thinking about which sport has the worst refs. I'm pretty sure the answer is Major League umpires, you know, because you can see the pitch, the ball's way out here, you know, clearly a ball, the whole stadium knows it, but yet there's a geriatric old man behind the plate. He's losing his eyesight. He can't even read the E on the eye chart of the eye doctor. You know, he called a strike, so that's what we're going with, I guess, you know. I mean, there's some umps in the major leagues that are pushing 70 years, you know? You really think these are the guys most qualified to make these decisions? I mean, I can't think of another situation where we give an unqualified old man that much power. But you're right, I forgot about Gavin.
We're going to keep the party rolling. Put your hands together. Ladies and gentlemen, from Jeffrey!
It's okay, you can talk amongst yourselves. Like to buy a vowel? Yeah. Oh, I love this. Gavin told us that when we come up here, we should introduce ourselves a little. I know nothing about me, so I've created a Venn diagram of sorts to help me figure that out. Code name, the Social Hierarchy Analysis Functionality Test. Now, there's three big things you need for this test. You gotta have the smarts. You gotta have the social ineptitude. And you gotta have obsessions. Alright, now there's a few questions you gotta ask yourself. Question number one, do I have a girlfriend? If the answer is yes, then yeah, I don't know where you go. The next question, do I have the smarts? Am I obsessed? Well, if you are, then my friend, you are a geek. If you have smarts, if you are socially inept, then you are what we like to call a dweeb. If you are obsessed with things, if you can't talk to people, if you have no smarts, you are a dork. And if you have everything, you're what I like to call is a me. The only problem with this, I think this circle might be a little too big, but I had to keep it on.
In summary, May 4th is a religious holiday. I will be having a party. It's going to be fun. But I hope you guys aren't a big fan of transitions. You see, my transitions aren't so. So last week I was in Alabama, and I don't have any cousins. I have a sister. But I was there for a rocketry competition. But it was good to be in the South again. I'm from Georgia, and there were a couple of things I remembered that the South has a lot of. First off, everyone there is obsessed with heat. A lot of heat there. The other thing, there's a lot of spiders there. And no one likes them, but they're there. There's no smarts down there. But, like I said, in Iowa, they say there's about 3 pigs for every person. In Georgia, there's at least 20 spiders for every human. And I've dealt with my fair share, big, small, they're all annoying. But there was one night, my dad came home from a gig, and he looked down and there was a spider, and he's like, nah, I killed it. And it started oozing from beneath his foot. It was thousands of baby spiders yelling, "Charge!" into our carpeted basement. So a couple weeks later, the insurance check came in, and we moved into a nice new house. It was a shame all the family heirlooms went up in smoke, though. So a few weeks back, I was scrolling through Instagram, and there was a dude from Australia making a video about a spider on his wall, and I kid you not, this is about size accurate. I have a few questions. How is anyone in the land down under still alive? Did he make him a nice Vegemite sandwich? And then, how did he get in? I don't see him opening doors. And if that thing runs by my feet as I open the door, I'm giving him the deed. I'm gone. So, there was one week that I missed, and it was about wordplay. So here's a few bad jokes for you. So there's a theory for SpongeBob about how the entirety of Bikini Island is caused from the nuclear testings of Bikini Islands. And some people like it. I think there's something fishy about it, though. So Disney's working on a new project where Rey's going to be a Jedi Master. It could be all right, so long as they don't force it. So I got a final in my flight training class coming up. I have yet to study. I think I'm just going to wing it. I think that's enough goals, I'm sorry. But I think it's time we talk about one of the most intense sports there is. And of course, we all know I'm talking about tennis. In tennis, I know it's a hilarious sport. There was a round where I'm playing, you know. Whoa! A 70-mile-per-hour ball hits me in the chest. And you know what happens? The other team gets the point. Because in tennis, when you hit your opponent, you get the point. So, I think the goal is to strike your opponents down, and you will win. I forgot that. Oops. Strike your opponents down, and your journey to the winning will be complete. There we go. Oops. That's fine. But there's always that kid in class who's like, hey, can I copy your homework? And you're like, sure, just change it a little. That's happened 4 times with tennis. Well, you got tennis, you got badminton, you got pickleball, you got ping pong. And if you really want to go there, you got pong! And I've noticed something. Every time it gets copied, it decreases in size by just a little, where now you don't even have to get off your couch to play it. I'm sorry, I can't think. Oh, right. So I was looking through some history. No wonder I forgot it. And the origins of badminton are quite interesting. Because when it first was created, it was not called badminton. It was called battledores and shuttlecocks. And I gotta tell you, shuttlecock, very funny word, I know, it's still around. I want to know what a battledore is. I mean, we've got our little rackets that we use. I want to march into the field wielding my battledore, saying, "Who will fight me?" But I think it's time we talk about something that's near and dear to every ISU student's heart. And of course, I'm talking about the SciRide bus system. Whenever they go to hire someone, they look at the resume. First thing they check, is he a NASCAR reject? Because we got to get across campus fast. You're going 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, and you see the stop, you don't hit the brakes until you're 3 feet away. And I was standing out at a bus stop once, and there's an app specifically designed to tell you when it's going to be there. And I'm looking at it like, all right, 3 minutes. That's kind of chilly, but I'm fine, I'm good. 8 minutes later, I'm like, all right, it's starting to get kind of cold. 20 minutes later, I'm a frozen fudgesicle with a hat on. But I see the bus coming, and I lock eyes with the bus driver. And it's turned into an old-fashioned Clint Eastwood Western, and we don't know what's gonna happen. But he gives me the look, and he's like, you gotta ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do ya? And I was not lucky because he ended up just driving on by. But I was talking with some people about it, and apparently it's a bigger problem than I originally thought. So I came up with an idea, and it's worked so well. I created CA, Cyrides Anonymous. We've got a lot of people, and it's so good, we've even got our own 12-stop program. So in the middle of the semester, my dad runs a ministry, he likes that joke. So in the middle of the semester, Gavin told us to go look at a newspaper and see if there's anything funny, because truth is often funny. I had to first find out what a newspaper was. I then was looking, I'm like, how does this, you can't scroll, there's no swiping, the pictures don't even move. I don't know. But once I figured it out, I found some headlines that kind of made me feel sad for humanity. You know, ones like, a state's population is to double by 2040. Babies to be blamed. Did you guys know Princess Diana was still alive just hours before she died? You know, they haven't gotten it right so far, but I think they finally nailed it. Forecasters call for weather on Friday. But there was one, just one, that gave me a little faith in humanity. The McRib is back! I've been just a Christ, thank you.
We have Hartman, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Hartman!
I am a lineman for the county, and I drive away.
Hello, everybody. Some seats just opened up in the front. Yeah, come on down. I've noticed tattoos have been getting pretty popular recently. Anyone have any tattoos here? Interesting. Oh, some. Okay, but completely contrary to what I just said. That's very interesting. Well, I have noticed tattoos are getting more popular, specifically religious tattoos, which is interesting because I see them at the gym a lot. You know, people will be working their biceps. They have Christ on a crucifix right here. They're getting buffed. He's getting buffed. The laws of transformance. But yeah, you see a lot of them. You know, it could be a crucifix. It could be a Sacred Heart. It could be a Bible quote. And I thought that's pretty cool. I want one of those too. So I got one. I got a Bible quote. The quote I got was Leviticus 19:28. Which is, you shall not make any cuts in your skin for the dead, nor tattoo yourself. I am the Lord. I got it as a tramp stamp right here. I came up with a game I like to play. It's a party game. You can take this with you. I'm a little old, in the 30s. I don't really party too much anymore, but a lot of young, fresh faces in the audience, so I think you guys could maybe have some fun with this. The game is, you have to wait for the right time. You go to a party, everyone's drinking, they're pretty wasted at that point, but no one's really leaving yet, so there's still a lot of commotion going on. And what you do is you go over to the music, you wait for the song to end, obviously you want to, great, that sounds exactly what I needed while I was telling jokes. No, you go to the music, you wait for the song to end, you want to be kind of sneaky about it, obviously, and then you put on the 10-hour-long version of Interior Crocodile Alligator by Chip the Ripper. And you wait until someone turns it off. And let me tell you about Chip real quick. Chip the Ripper is the poet. He's a real wordsmith, this man. The lyrics of the song are as follows. Interior crocodile, alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. And then that continues on for 10 hours after that. Those are the only lyrics to this remix. And the great thing about it is it has a great party beat to it. You know, it has the classic. So no one's really going to notice it first, you know. No one's really going to pick up on the fact that the lyrics are being, because you waited till they were drunk, you played it smart. And you know, there's no real winners to this game, let's be honest. You're kind of just playing against yourself. You're trying to beat your own high score. However, my score is 4 minutes and 36 seconds that lasted. So if you want to try it out, contact me with your high score and we can get a competition going. I'd really appreciate it. Pornography is popular. Let's talk about it. A lot of pornography fans in the audience, I see. That's great. That's great to see. Much better than the tattoo, where apparently no one had tattoos, but we all watch pornography, don't we? Oh, now you're quiet. No one wants to actually admit it, but we know. I see a lot of lies in that second non-laugh there. Okay. Well, I find it interesting that pornography is legal while prostitution is illegal. Which is basically the government saying, if you're going to do it, we want to watch it. We want to watch it. No closed doors on the government. The other day, speaking of pornography, I saw a video of a retired porn star that has recently become a sports commentator. Nice little change in profession. But the video was about how angry she gets when people try to bring up her past as a porn star. A world-famous porn star, no less. Which I get. We can all understand that, you know. But at the same time, who's going to really forget that thing that made you world-famous? It's kind of like if you're talking about World War II and someone says, you know that Hitler guy? No one responds with, the painter? Hitler's an interesting guy, let's talk about him. You know, obviously he's a bad guy. We all know that. Come on. I mean, those paintings were fucking terrible in my life. But you know, it's just strange because sometimes you feel in the mood to watch a documentary about Hitler. No? Not a lot of historians in the room, I see. Okay, well, I love to learn. I'm in college, by the way. I love to learn, love history. And, you know, sometimes you're just hanging out. Actually, let me say this first. I can't believe you guys don't watch Hitler documentaries. You're all lying! You're lying again! You lied about the porn and now you're lying about Hitler. They keep making them, man. There's like 200 Hitler documentaries on Netflix right now. They're not making them for nobody. We love history. Or maybe just I do. But, I'm turning the paper over, don't look. But yeah, they're making all these documentaries, and the fact that there's so many, I mean, Hitler's probably the most common topic other than Jesus. So pick which one you're going with. And I think the fact that there's so many Hitler documentaries really says a lot about the world. We hate terrible painters. We hate them so much we want to watch them all the time. And, you know, sometimes you just feel like you're in the mood. Maybe you just got done watching sports commentators' old videos. You're nice and refreshed. And you say, yeah, what should I do next? Let's check out some Netflix. You turn it on, boom, 50 Hitler documentaries right there. They got their own genre right there. And you say to yourself, let's learn some more about this Hitler guy and his runaround pals, the Nazis. I mean, come on, how bad could those paintings really be? Speaking of history, this might be a little more up your guys' alley. Is everyone aware of Paul Revere? The American education system's doing good on teaching about Paul Revere's right? Well, I always wondered if every time the Queen of England had an orgasm, if Paul Revere turned over in his grave and just yelled out, "The British are coming!" That's for the historians, which apparently there are very few. The other day I saw an article with the headline, "Global warming may be affecting your pets," which seems like a pretty last-ditch effort to get people to care, like, at all about global warming. I would have loved to have been in that writer's room, you know. We tried everything. North Pole melting, the world is on fire, humanity will end, but they're just hoping. They're hoping. Mittens might get cancer. It's going to change the whole movement. You know, I'm getting older now. Global warming's coming. I don't think it's ever too early to start thinking about your death. I'm looking at you, college students. It's never too early. And I've been thinking about my funeral, you know, and I'll probably have, you know, pretty normal service. People come, they walk by the casket, look at your dead body for some reason. Some people say some nice words, you know, maybe they play a song or something endearing or something religious, you know. But I think what I'm going to play is Interior Crocodile Alligator by Chip the Poet the Ripper. And, you know, at first people are going to be like, oh, this was an odd song choice. But then it's going to keep going on. It's the 10-hour long version. It's going to keep going. They start looking at each other, you know. Slowly they come to the realization that this is not going to end. But what they don't know is what I have planned is that the last person to leave, or the first person to start dancing, they get to inherit all my shit. They win the game. Hopefully I beat my high score. Thank you, everybody.
Next, he has won in a Brazilian. He has got a travel visa. Give him a round of applause.
Hello everybody, my name is Jenna Plotzke, but you can call me Paco. If it's too hard, just call me Taco. It's a bug with a tasty crust. So the first time I came to the US as any standard immigrant, I got my first illegal job. So I took care of horses for horses girls. And then one day we were going to competition, 3 a.m. and then I lost my horse. His name was Sonny, but he was black. And then I found him, had destroyed the neighbor's backyard, but they couldn't fire me because they never paid me. And then I moved to ISU and I had my first career fair, you know, big stuff. And then I asked my friends, what I was supposed to do because my English wasn't as good as today. And they said, Paco, my guy, everything's on a handshake. And then I went to my first career fair. I got there 2021, just after COVID. And the first guy I go to talk had the mask on, I don't know, shield, all the shit. Yeah. And then he goes to me like, he put the elbow, I what I said to him. Handshake, and then I go to my second guy, was a woman. I go to the second employee, and she gives my thing like this, and I don't know how to approach. but my mom raised me as a gentleman, so I kissed her. Yeah, so I never got the job, or her phone number. But that's alright because I got an on-campus job. And I have this thing of translating Brazilian words to English, and I should definitely stop it. Because I was on work another day, and I need a zip tie, and without hesitating, I go to my boss, say, "You have a cat strangler?" Yeah, like, this made me think like, who was Brazilian who put this name? Because he definitely missed the point. Or after killing all the cats, was like, you know what? It's really good to put stuff together. Yeah. Talking about cats, you guys know what is FIV? No. Well, it's cat's AIDS. So how do I know my cat had? His name was Mia, become Meow after 6 months. But you guys need to understand that Meow is not a normal cat. He's a gangster. Yeah, that cat would go everywhere in the neighborhood, would fight anything in front of him. You know, dogs, other cats, little kids, everything. Yeah, but one day my poor Meow, he got ran over. But he didn't die. Yeah, he just got his spies located. Yeah. You go for like the seminar and it brings you to the hospital, but those cats, wasn't that to stop him. And once he learned how to drift properly, no one could stop him. Like he needed to do a party to stop the feet and just run the hands. But like he wasn't stoppable. Yeah. So yeah, then you come to the ISU and they have all this thing of following our dreams. But I still think we need to fear the society because one of my biggest dreams is to kick a goose. It's real, like I really want to go there. Like, I want to see that goose flying. But I cannot do that because a white girl would probably see me. And she'll be majoring in English. And she'll write on Iowa State Daily about it. It will be like, Brazilian, as known as taco, kick a goose. And she'll not even say how far they could. Yeah. But then should we do a TikTok? And then I will get deported. Yeah, guys, thank you so much.
I'm Matt. So I grew up gay and Catholic. So a good chunk of my life I just thought I was really good at respecting women.
But yeah, being on the outside of a group like that, you kind of notice some things that maybe not everyone else does. So number one, why is Jesus always so jacked? Right? Like, you can't be mad at me for being gay and float my type over the altar every Sunday. Now, I don't think they ever said that he benched 285 in the Bible, but his biceps are definitely saying Talk about CrossFit. So yeah, the second thing you notice, Catholics are fucking bitchy. You're telling me I have to show up to Mass at 8 a.m. on a Sunday, knowing that an 85-year-old woman is going to be behind me, full going, in my ear, the entire Mass. I know you have time for vocal lessons in that nursing home. Now God said, lift up your voice and sing, but you should sit this one out. The third thing you notice are the priests. Now don't get me wrong, there are a couple of Phillips out there. But yeah, most of the time the attraction goes the other way. Okay, so there's this one time I'm in confession, which if you don't know what that is, it's where Catholics say every single bad thing they've ever done. And so I'm going through my list, I'm hitting all the usuals, you know, I thought Jesus was hot again. And I get to the end, and the priest looks at me and he's like, so are you like fully gay, or do you just like women? And I was a little taken aback, you know, I was like, of course I like women. But yeah, he was like, oh, thank God, like, you're too handsome not to have kids. And so, at first I was kind of like, oh my God. Yeah, then I was like, oh my God. But yeah, I still think about it sometimes. Anyways, more about me. I'm from a small town east of here. It's called Solon. Solon doesn't have much going for it. It kind of reminds me of my good friend Jenna Plotzke's dating life. Yeah, it's got more cows than people. For those of you who don't know Jenna yet, she's actually the next comedian, so as soon as you see her, that joke will end. So like I said, Solon doesn't have much going for it. We got a few neighborhoods, a few restaurants, and then there's one grocery store that has more health code violations than the entire town does people of color. Yeah, I'm not joking about how white it was. People used to ask me if I was mixed in high school. I listened to 15,000 minutes of Taylor Swift last year. Yeah, Solon's big claim to fame is Beef Days. Beef Days is an honored tradition where everyone goes and gets shit-faced on Main Street in the name of beef. It's really cool. It's kind of like Mardi Gras, but only with people who have never left their hometown. Right, any reality show fans here? No, there's a lot of haters. But in my opinion, they're really important. Like, think about it. It gives jobs to the least employable people alive. The only other institution we have for that is Congress. So yeah, so reality shows have been getting like kind of weird lately, just the premises are getting more and more out there. They actually just turned Naked and Afraid into a dating show. They're calling it Naked and Afraid of Love. So yeah, they take you and your partner that you get matched with by computer or whatever. They drop you in the wilderness, take your clothes, and then you gotta survive. And then at the end of it, you decide if you want to go on a first date with this person or not. I feel like if we're getting to the point where we sign up for the show, we should just try therapy. Or at least Tinder Gold. Speaking of therapy, there's another new show out called MILF Manor. So MILF Manor is a revolutionary reality show where contestants are trying to find love, and the pool is mothers and their sons. And that almost sounds interesting. But they play up the incest angle really, really hard. Yeah, they just took a sex ed class together. The mom and son have to like share a room, so they have to like figure out who's having sex when. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're a season renewal away from seeing the reanimation of Sigmund Freud's corpse. The application was actually just one question, and it said, have you ever had a sex dream about your mom? And they took all 12 people that said yes. Yeah, it's a weird show, but it does do one good thing, and it warns us against the dangers of stepmom porn. Reality shows have also been getting more diverse recently. I don't know if you guys knew, but we actually had our first bachelor come out as gay, so that's cool. It makes me wonder why we haven't had an all-gay bachelor, 26 guys all chasing after one. I guess it's its own category on Pornhub already. They don't give roses, they just get head. Yeah, I think I would make a really great bachelor. I've got everything they're looking for, white. But yeah, I wouldn't be the first gay bachelor, but I would be the first one who could dress himself. Speaking of dressing ourselves, I can see we have a lot of engineers here tonight. Yeah, Iowa State engineers kind of remind me of a bad Mexican restaurant. Predominantly white. They've both got this kind of inexplicable smell that only gets worse as you get closer. You never know exactly what they're going to give you, but it's always going to be bland. Like a bad Mexican restaurant, Iowa State engineers would really benefit from a deep clean. Not even tequila helps them go down. Yeah, neither of them really know what they're doing, but they're going to give something to you and call it innovative fusion. And lastly, I try to avoid both of them at all costs. So yeah, I'm also a proud car owner. Where's my car owners at? Yeah, so my car ownership philosophy is that any issues with the car are the car's problems and not mine. So one of my favorite hobbies is to go get my oil changed, and then I go like this. When they pull up the dipstick and it's completely dry. Like, I know, there's a reason why my parking spot looks like that. Yeah, anyways, my brakes have been getting really loud recently, and I actually decided to be independent this time, so I installed a speaker in the back, and I haven't heard shit from them since. That's really fun. It's kind of like a Schrodinger's car situation. Like as long as I don't pop the hood, nothing bad can happen. Another cool thing about me, I'm going into education. Education's cool because I already know I'll never experience financial security. It's also really cool because of all the don't say gay bills that are getting passed right now. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple techniques I've been working on in the name of job security. Hello? My name is Mr. Shafer. You can call me Coach. Mr. Shafer is for the bedroom. With my wife, whom I love. What do you mean I can't text my female students outside of class? Wash my hands? You think I'm some kind of pussy? Can you tailor these pants but specifically so the ass looks incredibly huge? Sorry about that. I only talk in football metaphors, and I will not tell you my whereabouts on January 6th. Bit of a blitz that day. Yeah, do I look like Jesus yet? Thank you, that is my son.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the next Shafer, ladies and gentlemen.
So I haven't always had these tits. Believe it or not, people actually used to have to look me in the eye when they spoke to me. Yeah, and you guys can't tell, but Ryan over here, he's making some intense eye contact. But yeah, growing up, I was pretty ugly as a child. Yeah, I had an underbite like this, much like the Drake Bulldog, but less cute. I know, it still kind of hurts. By the age of 6, I had braces. And I remember coming home and crying to my parents. And for some reason, they're like, how can we fix this? Let's go take her to get her eyes checked. So I had braces and glasses by the age of 7. And the obvious insult for that is 4-eyed brace face. Yep, and so I'd get off the bus and I'd go home and my mom would hold me and I'd cry. And she would be like, it's okay, it's okay. But you know, she was never like, they're wrong. I made it by wearing my glasses tonight, you know. Yeah, so a couple years later, we actually got the chance to do a hearing test at school. And my thought was, you know, if I fail the hearing test, I could get a hearing aid, because there was a girl in my class that had a hearing aid, and she had lots of friends. So I was hoping it would just cancel out something. But you know, now that I'm older, I'm 22, I go home and I see those school pictures, and I look at the Christmas ornaments on the tree, and I just think, damn, maybe they should have bullied me harder. Because not only did I have braces and glasses, but the photographer also had my head at a 45-degree tilt. So I looked like an idiot. But I think we all know that pipeline from being bullied in school to engineering is real strong. So I went into engineering, freshman in college, and as a woman and an extrovert in engineering, I was a double minority. Yes, I try to make friends in more unconventional ways. I think that making friends with an engineering man is much like trying to gain the trust of a stray dog. You have to use a lot of treats and a lot of patience. But yeah, so my weirdest experience in engineering, I was over listening to a group of engineering guys talking, because I'm nosy, and they were in their suits because they were going to the engineering career fair week, and you know what, they were looking good. Not good enough to cover up for the fact they don't have a personality, but pretty good, you know? And they were talking about someone, and they were saying like, oh, he's the center of my world, he's majestic, he's hairy. And I was like, who could they be talking about? And then I hear one of them go, I'm just so glad Steve Butler's my Calc frequent. I was like, grip that man has on College of Engineering is I went back to my roots, my corn roots. Anybody from a small town? Yeah, they're wooing because they got out. But I go back home frequently, and I turn on the radio, and all that is country. You know, and I hear the same Morgan Wallen song over and over again. And there's a lyric that goes, "I can't love you more than my hometown." And those standards are low. You know, my town is held together by sticks and glue. And by sticks and glue, I mean the only Mexican restaurant in a 30-mile radius. But yeah, he's got these lyrics, "I can't love you more than my hometown." It just makes me think of my hometown, and I was like, you can't love me more than the Hardys that got robbed 3 times by the same manager? Like, you can't love me more than our version of Beef Days, which is an annual sock festival? Yeah, you know, growing up in a small town, it's pretty hard because you know everybody and you're related to everybody. I'm not even joking about that, guys. But, so when I had a crush growing up, I'd have to call my grandma up on the phone and ask her to check the family tree. And on more than one occasion, I had a crush on a 5th cousin. But yeah, I didn't date a lot growing up. The first reason, I had braces and glasses till I was 17. But another reason I'm related to everybody is the little bit of dating I did do. Went on a couple dates with a guy, and when I wanted to end things, I kind of hesitated, because, you know, his dad was my bus driver. And man, I just really needed a ride to school the next day. But yeah, my mom always told me, she's like, when you go to college, it'll be a lot easier, you know, you'll have better options. And you know, you got 2 options in college. You can meet them in the wild, or you can get on the apps, and both are really shitty options. I was on Hinge recently, and there's a Hinge prompt, and it goes, "Change my mind about ... And this man just wrote, "Big booty Latinas." And you know what? No, I'm not going to change it. Because big booty Latinas slay. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been on Hinge, and it got a little weird at some point. I started seeing coworkers on Hinge. Like, I first saw the undergraduates in my lab, and then I saw the master's students in my lab, and then I saw our PhD student in our lab. And for the sake of the story, we'll call him Eric, because that's his name. And you know, it's kind of weird, you see them in like a more unprofessional setting, like their best pictures they got, and you start to think, you're like, is he hot? Or is he just in charge of me? And you know, I'm all for sleeping my way to the top. But the top is Wendy Winterstein, and she's just not my type. Unless she was a big booty Latina. Speaking of love, does anybody have those parents? They love each other, they're your best friends, they're kind of gross sometimes. Raise your hand, who's got those parents? Okay, well, I don't either. My parents got divorced when I was 8, and when I was 8, people would ask me, what's the hardest part about your parents' divorce? And as an 8-year-old, I'd be like, that I'll never find love like them. And they're like, you're 8! But now that I'm older, like I said, I'm 22, I think the hardest part about my parents' divorce was that the fact that my mom ruined my favorite childhood show. Have you guys seen VeggieTales? Okay, so for the 2 of you that don't know what that is, it's basically a show where they have vegetables use singing and dancing to push Christian moral values down children's throats. And so the show, they have Bob the tomato, and they have Larry the cucumber. And coincidentally, my dad's name is Larry, and my mom's boyfriend's name is Bob. And so now every time I watch the show, I think, wow, my mom's fucked both the VeggieTales. Speaking of my mom, where are you at tonight? ago during the pandemic, the British Prime Minister got COVID, and I remember watching the newscast with her, and she just goes, Jenna, that looks just like your ex-boyfriend. And if you don't know who the British Prime Minister is, he's just like a 6-year-old white man with wrinkles. And the saddest part about all of that was that she wasn't wrong. I'm into older men. But there's a lot of moms, they're like the live, laugh, love type of moms. My mom's more of like a live, fight, drink type of mom. Yeah, those moms are like, kill them with kindness, you know? My mom's like, kill them. She always taught me, she's like, you can't talk shit if you got a fat lip, you know? The lady in the crowd just goes, yes. But yeah, my mom's always been my biggest supporter. I used to play basketball. I know I look like a JV star. But my mom would come to every single one of my games. And the thing about my mom, she does not care about basketball, she cares about supporting me. And so she would not watch the game unless I was in. She was up in the stands just like knitting away. And so when I would go in, my mom would cheer for me to get out for 2 reasons. One, because I could foul, and elbowing a woman in the face is a lot cheaper than taking me to therapy. And for 2, she wanted me to foul out so that she could go home and put dinner in the crock pot. But yeah, my mom's always been my biggest supporter, even when I told her I wanted to join the military. And so I just remember the day we had the recruiter sitting in our cafeteria at school, and I come running in from PE, and I'm breathing heavy because not only did I have braces and glasses, but I had asthma. So with an inhaler in one hand and an inhaler in another hand, I run up to the recruiter and he looks at me and he goes, no! And let me tell you, it was devastating. I was just like, how can I serve my country? How can I serve my country? And then I was like, what if I can serve the troops? You know? You know, some people call it sex. Some people may call it lovemaking. But I call it my patriotic duty. You know, and all the military branches, they're all different, you know. You got the Navy, they look nothing like the guys off of Top Gun. And you got the Marines, and much like their missions, they finish fast and they leave casualties. You got the Air Force, they fly those planes and they can handle the G's in the sky, but you can recite their slogan to them over and over again. Aim higher. Aim higher! And they still can't find the G spot. You got the Coast Guard, you know. They just got some great swimmers. I have never taken so much Plan B in my life. And lastly, you've got the Army. They are consistently average. You know, and I think a weird thing about the Army guys is on more than one occasion, they've asked me to say the Pledge of Allegiance before I took off my bra. So I think that's odd. Ryan over here relates to that story. But I know you're thinking, you're sitting there, and you're going, there's no way that she has slept her way through all the U.S. military branches. And you would be right. The Space Force is too new for me.